Good morning. Today we will be seeing the creep behavior of a material. So, earlier we have seen that what is creep, we have little idea about it. So, creep means there are two aspects, one is temperature, another one is time. So, we have to have some idea about simultaneous interaction of temperature and time on materials deformation behavior. Okay. So, what is the effect of temperature? At this point you have to think about the tensile chapter where we have seen a particular equation that sigma equal to some constant to the power q by RT, right. So, we have seen a particular equation which tells that sigma equal to this, some constant c into e to the power q by RT at a constant epsilon, that is strain, and epsilon dot, that is strain rate. So, at a constant strain and strain rate, if we compare the flow stress of a material at different temperatures, okay, we will find that with increasing temperature the strength of a material reduces, that at least we have seen earlier. Okay. So, why this happens? Now, for that we have several things like so many more we have, I will come, but say mobility of atoms, this is you can say that it is quite common that at high temperature mobility of atoms will increase. We know from our school days at high temperature mobility of atoms increases, and if that happens then we also know that the diffusivity of a material will increase. Okay. So, any diffusion controlled processes will get enhanced at high temperature, and then in association to this I have mobility of dislocations. So, dislocation generation and all these things will increase because of as the mobility of atoms increases, as well as atoms are getting diffused at some other locations and all. So, dislocation generation will also be enhanced. We also know about climb, we know that climb is a temperature assisted phenomenon. So, if there is some high temperature, then there will be climb of atoms, and so dislocations, number of dislocation or dislocation movement will increase. Once the dislocation movement increases, we can say that equilibrium concentration of vacancies will also increase. Okay. So, these are few things. Then I have 4, as I said, vacancies. So, we may have some things like new deformation mechanisms may be there, like what? Na, slip system. So, we know at room temperature many slip systems are not active, but at high temperature once we are going, the slip systems may be activated. You can say by combining these points also here that new slip systems may be activated, means in different directions the vacancies are getting created or the dislocation climb is taking place. So, that way in room temperature I have some restricted slip system which may get activated at high temperature. And then some phase transformation, we know at high temperature some phase can transform, like many metallurgical variables may change, like I have a cold work structure, I have a material which is age hardenable. So, the age hardenable material, once you keep something at some high temperature for some certain duration of time, there may be precipitation, and that precipitation of different other these precipitates will have some variation in their sizes and all, or some material, if there is cold work material which may have some grain size enhancement. Okay. So, many cases are there at high temperature. If I keep a material for some certain duration of time, it will have variations and there may be loosening of strength, that you I think understand. The annealing process normally we do to remove the cold worked all stress which are there, isn't it? So, that is stress relief we are doing. Okay. Why? Because there will be recrystallization, grain growth, and that way some stress will be relieved. So, at high temperature any material if we hold, then there will be reduction in their strength by the methods written here as well as some other metallurgical factors which we understand. Okay. So, why at all high temperature behavior we need to know? Because of the fact that in many applications we need high temperature application. Okay. Like in turbines, the materials required always are used at high temperature. The rockets which are going in front of this, they are sustaining very high temperature. Okay. Whenever there is friction with the atmosphere and all, there will be generation of very high temperature. So, always we need that high temperature exposure to materials in various applications, and due to this I need to have the material behavior or the material which can sustain that type of applications. Okay. Another one is oxidation. So, metals are prone to be oxidized. So, during creep we also try to see what is the effect of oxidation on the material's behavior. Fine. So, these are few things which actually tells why at high temperature a material's behavior changes, and as the material's behavior changes we need to know means how much change is going on inside the material's structure, and due to what we are reading this creep chapter. Okay. Another one is strain rate sensitivity. So, why this is important in this chapter? Now, strain rate sensitivity means earlier also we have seen a symbol small m is used in tensile chapter, we have seen that, and strain rate sensitivity tells about that if I do a test with a slow rate or with a high rate, then materials properties vary. Okay. That means what? Now, strength reduces or increases based on the strain rate of the experiment. That means, in actual uses also if the strain rate varies, then our materials behavior may vary, and moreover this strain rate effect is very high, you can say, at high temperature. So, if you are having means at room temperature it may be say m value may be 0.01, at high temperature if you are going, then the effect of this strain rate will increase. Okay. And why at high temperature effect of strain rate will increase? That the points we have written at high temperature, why the material strength reduces, all these phenomena are acting together. So, materials dependence on strain rate increases at high temperature. Okay. So, these are few things we have to consider. Then what is called as high temperature? A temperature based on materials melting point we have to decide, because something like 100 degree centigrade may be room temperature for some, may be high temperature for some material, even room temperature may be high temperature for some material. Like a material, you know it, lead. Okay. Lead's melting point is what? Who will tell? Melting point of lead is 340 degree centigrade, it is little less, 227 degree centigrade is the melting point of lead. So, if it is this, and then we are using the material at some certain temperature, we will find that that is high temperature for this particular material. Okay. And so, based on the melting point we have to decide what is the high temperature for that particular material. So, from there we have the idea of homologous temperature naki. Yes, we have the idea of homologous temperature, which actually T by Tm. T by Tm, if it is greater than 0.5, then we can consider that particular temperature where T is the working temperature. Okay, that means the applied temperature. If T by Tm is greater than 0.5, that will be considered as high temperature for the material, and this T and Tm both in absolute scale. So, if T equal to 25 degrees centigrade, and for lead I said it is 227 degrees centigrade. So, you find out it is very, say instead of 25 you are taking this as 27, 273 plus 273 plus. Okay. So, this will give you 300, this will give you what 500. So, it will be 300 by 500 for lead, and that will give you 0.6. So, it is greater than 0.5, and that indicates that room temperature itself is high temperature for lead. So, if I keep lead here at high temperature room temperature with some load, okay, if I take a lead block, give some load on it at room temperature itself, we will find there is some deformation, and that deformation is creep. That means what? In creep you have to apply some high temperature based on its melting point and some load. That means some stress you have to apply, or load you can directly tell. So, if I keep it for some certain duration, that is prolonged duration of time, it will show some deformation, okay, and that deformation actually is creep deformation. Fine. So, this is a particular creep curve. So, how do we get this kind of creep curve? For getting a curve like this, we need only a sample. I have a particular design of sample, and that design you can get ASTM standard E139. So, for having a creep test, we have to have certain specimen design. So, this specimen design you will get as per ASTM standard E139. Obviously, why ASTM standards are required, that things we know, earlier we have seen. Okay. So, as per that, if I prepare a sample and put it in a creep machines are little bit different from what we have seen in our labs, you may not have seen. So, there what will happen, now I have a hot chamber like this, means a furnace, because I have to have some high temperature generation. So, inside that I have some similar to Instone some grips. So, in the grips I have to fix our sample like this simply, and then at the bottom I will have some loading. That means, wherever I am giving the load, and I have some vary chances of or some provision to vary the load. Okay. So, based on materials cross sectional area and material strength and that application, we will decide the load. Okay. And after that decision, you have to choose some certain temperature based on the homologous temperature for the material, and at that different temperature means based on that you choose different temperatures and do the creep study. You can vary both the things, one is the applied load, another one is the temperature of doing the test. Okay. And then if I keep it for long duration of time, we will see there will be a straining to the material. Okay. Do you follow? So, that strain, if I plot versus time, the duration for which we are keeping it, will have a curve like this. Okay. That means what? Now, Like fatigue, we have multiple samples, so it is little bit different. Try to visualize one particular sample we are taking, do it keeping it for long duration of time at a particular load and temperature, you will get a curve like this. As the curve is showing, I have 3 stages in it like this. Okay. So, in the very beginning I have this kind of very high strain, and then slowly that comes down. After that it reaches a steady state. After that again the rate is very fast. Okay. So, what does it tell? Now, this steady state is having some certain rate, I can write as d epsilon by dt or epsilon dot directly, है ना. So, I have 3 stages in this curve. You can say this is stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. It is also called as primary, secondary and tertiary. Okay. So, at the beginning you have very high creep rate which comes down like this, and then secondary is a very a stage which is, you can say, as the steady state, and then tertiary, 3 is here. Tertiary again the creep rate is very high. Okay. So, why that happens? Why the steady state is there? Try to understand that we have some idea about strain hardening. So, as soon as in a material there will be deformation, as soon as the deformation is there, the material will have some amount of hardening. Okay. So, initially due to the applied load is high, so there will be very large strain in it. After that I can say that material is restricting by in terms of strain hardening to it. So, due to that the strain will be reducing. At a certain stage it will be having a steady state where both strain hardening and the deformation are compensating each other. So, I will have a steady state and then a very fast rate. Again we have seen in our fracture chapter that after some certain duration strain hardening cannot compensate. So, the strain hardening here cannot compensate, I will have the creep deformation, as well as additionally inside the material due to creep which kind of deformation is taking place, that will be there. Okay. So, the rate, or you can say that the stage 2, that is the secondary stage, is having the maximum duration of the deformation, and if it is such, that will be named as the creep rate. Okay. So, this is the creep rate. The rate at the secondary stage is known as the creep rate. Why? Because that is the slowest process. You can say that the maximum duration of the creep process is under this secondary stage. Okay. So, initial stage is small, secondary stage is very long, and after that when it fractures, that stage also is small. Here somewhere it fractures. Okay. So, I will have 3 different stages, and the secondary stage is known as the creep rate, because that is the slowest possible stage. So, for any experiment, anything, the rate controlling is the slowest stage. So, for a material, if I tell what is the creep rate, we have to tell the strain rate at the secondary stage. Okay. So, this is a curve which is for a load controlled test. Now, if I control the stress during, so in our modern equipment we have stress controlling also. Stress controlling means what? Now, if I fix up the stress, that means what? Now, as soon as the deformation is there in the material, so with deformation, that means the cross sectional area is reducing, because I am giving, means if I give some tensile kind of loading to the structure. So, if I give tensile loading, there will be a diffusion, and due to that specimen will elongate. So specimen is getting elongated means its cross sectional area is reducing. So based on that, if I have a provision to reduce the load, that means if we are fixing the stress, then what will happen? Now the steady state will be increased. Okay. So there are both types of means experimental procedures are there. You can do a load control test, you can do a stress control test. Once we are doing a load control test, this is the load controlled one, and then steady state will be enhanced. This is the stress controlled one. Okay. And after a certain long journey, it will again fail. Fine. Okay. These are again quite obvious, and you can understand that if we vary the applied stress during the creep study, then how the curves will change. These heights you can change, yes, itna lamba lamba nahi hoga, like that. So say this is sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3, sigma 4, etc. So at different stresses, if we are doing the study, then it will look like this. So I think you understand, Naki, where it breaks and all, means which one, sigma 1 is greater or sigma 4 is greater? Rohit? Sigma 4 is greatest one. So that tells that as we are increasing the level of applied stress, the material can have fracture at a slower duration, that means at a less duration of time, as well as the creep rate will enhance, as well as the extent of steady state will reduce. So the things which are available from here is at a smaller duration the material will break, the creep rate will increase, as well as the extent of steady state will reduce. Okay. So as we are doing this test with varying stress or varying load. Okay. Then another one is if we are doing the test, similar curve we will have if we are doing the test with varying temperature. So similar curve will be there, that is if I write here T1 by rubbing of this. Okay. At the same time we do not vary both the things. So if I vary the temperature T1, T2, T3, T4, T4 is the greatest one, and that way I will have the curve change. That means at high temperature again the deformation will be more. So the material will behave in this manner. Another one which is not reflected from here is the creep rate. So creep rate curve, if I draw here, it will look like this. So if I plot here as creep rate, initially the rate was very high, after that it reduces, reaches a steady state, and then again it is very fast. So this is the stage 1, stage 2 and stage 3 is like this. Okay. Then it may be like this, that means if we increase the applied stress, then the creep rate curve, if I have a creep rate curve versus time, it will look like this. Do you follow or not? Bolo. Yes. Above 0.5 Tm. No, why there will be less strain to the structure? Recrystallization is there, so material is becoming softer. Means the question is, if we are doing it at high temperature, then there will be recrystallization. So why strain will be more? Strain will be more. The question answer is, if you are doing it, applying it at high temperature, and at that same time there is recrystallization, so material is becoming softer, as well as we are giving the same amount of load to it. So a soft material you are giving a load, similar load, so it will break faster. The rate of deformation will be more for a soft material.
But it will be able to withstand more load
Why? How it will withstand more load? Because it is soft and I am putting it for longer durations. Soft material means I am working with a high strength material as well as a low strength material. Low strength is soft, so it will fracture quite early compared to the high strength material. There may be high deformation to it. The high strength material will take high load, deformation will be more less high strength material. High strength material will take higher load to fracture, and here also at high temperature the strength reduces. Okay, so it will have cracks or fractures because of its reduction in strength. Okay, and high temperature it is soft, so that way it will have higher rate of deformation at each instant at that same stress. Okay. So, any more questions from here? Yes, obviously there are many explanations to this deformation. How it is we can see in our next class, because there are several models. Because at the beginning we have seen in our introduction that there will be some dislocation, there will be some new deformation system, okay, there is diffusion. So, at which temperature which one is operative, all these things we have some explanation, and as well as how the fracture surface will look like, those things we have. Okay. So, that we will see in our next class.